Today is February 3rd. We're already 1 month into the new year. That's crazy. I'm Raafaa, as always, and this is Initiative, which is a series focused on giving amateur and academy players that have recently come from the amateur scene a time to really share their story and share their origins, where they're coming from, what their current team history and experiences are, and what they're looking forward to do in, by the end of the year, in the next couple of years. Tonight we have Matty, who I used to know as Matty Moo. Why did you drop the Moo in the end of your IGN?
Oh, it's a long story, actually. So, I've been Matty Moo, right? But everyone always calls, you just call me Matty, right? Even when I was Matty Moo, I'm Matty, right? So I had the name IGN Matty, just Matty, was the guy wasn't playing anymore. Mm-hmm. It was 30 days from expiring. I was hyped,
Yeah.
Then my guy decides to play an ARAM. So I was waiting and I couldn't. So then I added him. He eventually added me back. Then I asked him for the name. How much would you want for Matty? And he's like, nah, it's not for sale, and blah, blah, blah. A year-ish in of me asking him once every 3 months, not knowing him too much,
Yeah.
He just decided to give it.
That's a dub.
So I just got it for free. So now I'm just Matty. Drop the Moo.
There you go. And out of curiosity, since this information is on Leaguepedia, but how do you pronounce your first name? Is it Mathieu?
Oh, it's the French version of Mathieu, and it's just pronounced Mathieu.
Mathieu. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bonjour, monsieur.
My IRLs call me Matt, and then online I'm just Matty. So.
Gotcha. Okay. So only your parents, when they're upset, are like, Mathieu. Do they ever?
Yeah, my parents call me by my first name, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they call me Matt still, I think.
Okay.
So it's pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for family is my real name.
Gotcha. And you're from Canada, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And my parents are from Quebec, but I live in Ontario, and that's why my name's a French name.
Gotcha. Yeah, the French influence when they settled in Canada. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So, our first thing on our agenda, we kind of already gone through the introductions, but I'll give the floor to you to talk a little bit more about not only how you started getting into League, just playing the game, and then from there talk about when did you start getting first into competitive League of Legends.
Yeah, well, I started playing when I was 12 or 13. It was mid-season 3. I think my friends were like, I was playing a random MMO back then. Then one of my friend was like, yo, come try this with us. Or they already played a bit, and then they were pre-level 30. And then I joined. I remember my first champion, I picked Zach. I went bot lane. I had no clue what I was doing. It was a custom versus bots. I just did not have fun at all. But those two friends, it was like a friend group. They always played, so I forced myself to play, and then I guess I'm a little competitive, so I just I felt like getting better, so I just played a bunch on my own.
Yeah.
And I remember I was the first one out of the group to hit 30 because I played without them too. And then no. I feel like everyone who plays League knows you just get hooked,
Yeah.
League gets you. And once I 10-20 games in, once I grasped the basic concept of how to play, I ended up loving the game. All those friends, they all never played ranked or anything. I think the highest one was silver 2 back when I first started. And that was bronze. Since my first season I ended bronze 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the next season I went gold, next season plat, and then I went straight to masters. I hit it when I was 16, I think. I when I just turned 16 I hit masters. Then within a year I hit challenger for the first time, and ever since then I've been hovering between high GM, challenger, although I'm cursed, and at the end of every season I will drop all my LP and look like I'm a hard stuck.
No. Well, hopefully, especially with your amazing start this season so far, I hope that doesn't happen to you again. And we'll talk more about that later as we get into kind of more into your current standings now as a player in the amateur scene. But so started in season 3. I also started around the same time as you were, but I was 17 at the time. So, and I was in a similar position, except my friends put me on Soraka slave duty in the support role all the time. And that sucked. That was not fun. Because I would watch my friends play Lux and Ryze, and that looked way more fun. And so I wanted to originally be a mid laner, because I thought that was where all the superstars were, right? Or that's where they, at the time, that seemed like the most fun role. Whereas jungle didn't really seem like a fun role. It just seemed like you were on Sejuani duty, and that for...
At least you had those impressions. I just loaded in, and they're like, I'm like, what do I do here in Champion Select? They're like, just pick a champion.
Yeah.
I only had the free-to-play list. Zach looked cool, so I picked him. No.
Yeah, I guess it comes down to the age difference, right? If you're only 13 at the time.
I was like 13, 12, so.
Yeah. You're just like, dude, what do I do?
Yeah, I had no clue what I was doing.
Gotcha.
But you learn, so.
Yeah. Well, so then eventually, at what point, what season did you start either getting into competitive, or like you got good enough that you thought about, hey, you know what? I want to start playing competitively.
Oh, I actually, well, like, you know, as a kid growing up, I always looked up to LCS, right? But I was kind of oblivious to everything else. Like, I never, like, I don't think I even, like, knew there was, like, amateur. Like, I didn't, like, realize it. I'm sure that had I tried, I probably could have been on teams, but
yeah.
I just didn't really know about the existence, I think. And then I think, I mean, yeah, when I was 18, then that's when my friends hit me up. They wanted to make this team to play in Upsurge or whatever, and that was with Fruition, my first team. Then had a few roster changes, and then boom, I was in Upsurge, and it kind of opened me to the amateur world. I kind of like didn't know it existed, honestly. I knew there was tournaments and LANs, but I didn't realize there was like a scene. Yeah.
So, if my math serves me correctly, then you were. If it was season 3 and you were 13, then by the time you first competed with Fruition, you were
probably 18.
Yeah, you just turned 18
or turning 19. Yeah.
Yeah. So the friends that you formed Fruition, the first iteration being Jayton, Disconnector, Blitzcrank, and who was your mid laner at the time? I'm blanking on the name.
Drew Dozer.
Oh yeah. Drew. Did you guys like how did you meet those guys before they formed Fruition?
You know, it's been a while, but actually, like the first Fruition, it was actually supposed to be Daption.
Really? Okay.
Disconnector, I think, and then we had Frost Forest Jungle. I wasn't jungle.
Yeah.
I was like the last one invited, and I was gonna play autofilled mid. That was the plan at the start. And then Jayton top, and then I was just gonna play autofilled mid, yeah. But then they got their 13 noobs offers, Daption and Frost Forest or Chan. I don't know. He goes by Frost Forest.
Yeah. No, he and I are from the same state, by the way.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then so they left, and then we had to fill the shoes. I don't know how close any of us were to Drew at the time. It's been a while, but we had tryouts or whatever, and then that was the team. We got Blitz support, but I think I knew Blitz from solo queue.
Yeah.
And then we were looking for supports, right? Because EPL was starting, they had left us, so I think I hit him up. I was like, "Yo, do you want to play competitively?" And yeah, that's what happened.
Nice.
So he had to start learning new champs. He was a Blitz one trick at the time.
Right. Yeah.
He picked up the Nautilus and the I don't know what else. Pike, yeah. Nautilus and Pike were two, I think.
Yeah.
Off Blitz.
I distinctly remember there was a joke that like he got really good at hook champions, but Thresh definitely took him a little bit more time to play correctly.
I don't think he ever much played Thresh.
Did he? I feel like he did.
Maybe. I mean, it's been a while, but
yeah.
I think he was more on the Pike.
No, definitely remember the Pike for sure.
Nautilus for sure. I don't really remember after that.
Yeah. I feel like after And once we get to that point, after Fruition disbanded and Andros went to pursue other things, I don't think Blitzcrank competed again.
Yes, he did.
Did he?
We stayed as a team, and that's when we went to Team Front.
Ah, got you.
And Blitz was in Team Front initially, but he ended up leaving at one point. I don't remember exactly what, but I know he competed under Front for a while.
Right. Okay. So we're kind of jumping forward in time, and I do want to talk about Team Front because that's another exciting.
That's the OGs.
Yeah.
The UPL champions.
That's right. That's right. I mean, so you guys won UPL as Team Fruition, and you guys made a hell of a run during the first iteration of what eventually became Big League. In what I guess it was called Dark Star Gaming back in the day.
I think it was the first time it was called Big.
Oh, okay.
Or I think it was like Big X Star or something.
Oh yeah, because it was
called Big at the time.
Sure.
I know for sure.
Right. And you were a huge dark horse at the time, and it was super exciting. I think once I got to talk to Andros and I was able to cast you guys just like off of the Fruition stream, I was like, man, these like everyone's talking about obviously Polar Ace at the time or Supernova, but then like Fruition comes in and it's just like, man, you guys were a super dope powerhouse. But there is, at some point, you've had a few roster iterations within Team Fruition, even at one point forcing you to role swap the bot lane. How was that experience, and how did that, once you eventually came back to jungle, what did you learn from being a bot laner?
Well, it's not like I completely role swapped to AD. I've always, when I climbed through like bronze to the plat, I was playing AD. Okay. And then jungle was my secondary. I feel like I just swapped them around at one point. And then, so once we started doing roster changes, we couldn't find another jungler. Or no, we couldn't find another AD carry, but we had found another jungler, which was EricZYang. I don't know how long he played with us though. But when it was Front, I know I didn't play AD for that long. Yeah. But we had EricZYang for a bit, and then I just role swapped to AD, playing with Blitz. Wasn't the best, but we made it work. But also on Fruition, I think we were looked at like a team of one tricks. I was the Zinzao guy at the time. Judozer was the cat guy. Yeah. And we had Blitz, was obviously the Blitz guy. Yeah. Yeah. Then I don't know, Jaden was like on the Yorick, so. Yeah. We were always drawing one trick bands, and then we were playing whatever else we wanted after that. Yeah. I feel like Jaden definitely had a competent pull outside of the Yorick. I know that I saw a lot of Gnar and Jace picks from him from time to time, but I don't know about his Jace, but his Gnar's played. Because his pool's not bad. Yeah, for sure. Oh man, no, that was a good time. He's the homie. Still friends with him. Yeah. But he dropped competitive after Team Front, I think. Mm-hmm. He hasn't touched it since. Damn. Is he just vibing in solo queue, or does he not even play ranked anymore? Yeah, he's vibing, and like he doesn't play as much, but he's vibing in solo queue and he's just having fun. Like, he's just vibing. Gotcha. Just in real life, online, whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's not for everyone, right? And sometimes, once someone decides to take a separate break away from it, it can be good for them. I think our scouting ground run, like we were in the face it stuff, and we kind of flopped, and then it was pretty depressing for everyone. Yeah. So I think that's when he dropped, or it didn't feel like it anymore. Because I mean, it's hard, right? So, yeah. No, it but really there's like always someone better than you, at least from like my POV. So sure, you're always the underdog. So not only that, everyone has different levels of mental fortitude. Mm-hmm. Not only that, the other big thing is that at the time the amateur scene was nowhere near as like supported and sculpted out as now. So I'm actually curious, whether it's the Team Fruition roster or the Team Front roster, do you think if you had that roster now competing, and let's assume that like Jayton and Drew Dozer and Disconnector and Blitz were able to improve as much as you have over that time and stuck together, how would you guys fare in this current landscape? I mean, I feel like it's not like I'm the only one who improved, right? All of them still play League, other than maybe Jayton, he plays less, but Blitz is still He's like a full-time. I don't know if he's full-time streamer, but he's popping off on Twitch. He gets like 200 viewer average. Drew Dozer's on ICU now. Smurfing. Disconnector's also on ICU with Drew Dozer. So
that's right.
We're the Fruition boys working together.
Yeah. Do you still keep in touch with Andros?
No, but I feel like if I see him, we say hi.
Yeah.
Not really like close or anything.
That's fair.
Closer to the players.
Yeah. No. That makes sense. I didn't know what was the relationship like between the owner and the players at the time, but
yeah, we loved Andros though. He's the homie.
That's right.
Shout out to Andros.
Shout outs to Andros, man.
I think he works with Upsurge or something. No, he works with the league, I think.
Yeah, he I think it is UEA and Upsurge. And so he'll be working behind the scenes for T1.
I know he's always been doing behind the scenes in amateur. No.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think when he disbanded Fruition, it was because he had to do military or something. Something military. He's always been in the military, so.
Yeah, he did like some Air Force work, but
something like that.
Yeah. So before I kind of let you go about the whole Roleswap, I want to clarify then, were you primarily then a marksman or an ADC player growing up?
I Roleswap twice. I started competitive jungle.
Yeah.
So I started focusing only on jungle, right? And solo queue stuff. But then when I Roleswapped, then I stopped playing. I stopped queuing jungle and solo queue, and I was queuing AD. And I think I hit challenger once, primarily playing AD. And then we lost XZ or something. We found an AD, so I went back on jungle.
Gotcha.
That happened twice. I Roleswapped twice to AD. I don't think it'll happen anymore, but you never know.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
my Roleswapping days are over.
Right.
It's a jungle or bust for me.
Yeah. I mean, good thing that there are a couple of strong marksman champions that exist in the jungle role right now. So it's not
true.
It doesn't feel like you ever left either role. You just combined the best of the two. So
Kindred, Graves, they're not ready.
Speaking about your champion pool, so I know you kind of branded yourself as the Xin one trick. For me, I know this season you've been spamming a lot of Lilia, and so people are saying like, okay, we got to ban the Lilia away from Matty. But tell me, bro, who's got the better Kayn, you or EricZYang, man?
EricZYang's pretty good at Kayn, but I don't know. I think I don't want to be like, I don't know. I never ego. We're pretty close in terms of level, so I don't know. He has more experience on Kayn for sure.
Yeah.
We'll say maybe EricZYang's a better Kayn, but I don't know where he's at right now. So
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if he's doing anything. I haven't seen him in a while in Sulky or anything.
Okay. I don't know if he is the I feel like I've normally seen him do Shadow Kayn a lot more than and I think I've always seen you pull out Ross Kayn more. So maybe he's
I feel like in competitive, Ross Kayn is the only like viable champion. Whereas if you go assassin, it's like your odds of winning are very low.
Yeah.
It's Red King's just a better champion, I think. Like Blue Kayn, I love playing Blue Kayn. Like in solo queue, I love to play Blue Kayn. I don't want to play Red Kayn. But in just competitive, that's like the champion like doesn't die. You do DPS, you tank, you heal. That's what we'll need in their jungler, not an assassin going through walls.
Yeah.
Trying to 1v3 the backline.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, especially.
I've been the Zinzao guy, but he hasn't been meta for a while, so I haven't really touched him much.
Gotcha.
And then when Lilia came out, started like maining her in solo queue, and I just ripped through people. Had a high win rate on her last season, and then this season she's my most played in solo queue, and I have like a 70% win rate on her, like in 50 games or something. Yeah. Like a high DD, so. Yeah. I really love playing her. She has different playstyles too. You can go phase rush, run around, moonstone heal everyone, or you can go to DH, try to one shot everyone. I just love flashing in, queuing everyone, and putting them to sleep, and then just freezing stopwatch.
Yeah, give them
so satisfying.
Give them a dosage of NyQuil for the setup.
Yeah.
So let's see here. So going on to Team Front. I mean, Team Front is essentially the second coming of Fruition, right? And
Yeah, the roster carried on from front.
Oh, sick, dude! Let's go! Oh man,
The team jersey I've got.
oh that's actually super dope. So
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it seemed like Team Front definitely had a bigger.
Yeah, like they have scenes in like everything else, and I guess they wanted to branch the league. I don't remember how we found them, but I don't know. I think I got DM'd on Twitter, and then I just talked to them, and then we had a meeting with all the players. Because we were looking. I think we tweeted or something that we were looking for an org, and then they hit us up because they wanted a league team, I think. And they weren't too involved with us. Like they just kind of paid for our stuff and just let us do our thing, which I guess is a way of doing it.
Yeah,
we were just representing the org. I mean, yeah,
it's definitely one way to do it, you know. And as long as they pay you, you know, I think that's
just paid our entry fees. We got jerseys, so I don't need anything more.
There you go. I mean, for me,
that's what most teams do, anyways.
Yeah, that that is essentially what most teams do, anyways. I mean, we've seen, you know, some scummy orgs in the past that try to rip off players, and so that's always the best that I can hope that, you know, even if they don't have like coaching staff or anything, as long as they fund you guys and gives you some cool shit, then
that's all you need.
Yeah, that's all you need. But yeah, so the Team Front, after that SG, that was 2019 season, you guys, I think you did fairly well. You guys were labeled as another dark.
We were in the top 16 where we played in the Facets.
That's right.
But I think we went 4-1-5 or something. I think we almost made the playoffs, but I think we like our match that like lost us everything was against Metaphor's team, and that was like depressing. I remember it. Played Sejuani. I had like one int, then we lost. But I mean, it's not like I was the only one. So.
Yeah, that first SG season was super weird because the finals came down to a new and what APA called the Boomer team, which was like Nintendo X, and I think Chris was on there. The Expendables, right?
Yeah.
So.
It's also weird because the format was really weird, where it was just best of ones.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's scuffed.
And the whole Faceit system was really scuffed as well. So. But I mean, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. If you win, you got nothing to worry about, right? You just have to win. Just win.
Yeah. Yeah. No, honestly, that's.
No matter how scuffed the series are.
Yeah.
Just win.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that's. I wish that we could always just iterate that to all the teams in amateur, especially with all the shit that's been happening in big recently. But you know, if you just win, it doesn't fucking matter. But I mean, people are always going to complain about something, right? So
Sure.
But yeah, so after Team Front and after SGC 2019 season, you move into 2020 and you're on Dark Allegiance. So how did that come about?
I think after the SGC season, we were still with Front for a bit. I think we tried to play UPL, failed. That was the end of Front, I think. And then after that, I think before I went on DA, I had an endeavor with Team Fish Taco. I had an iteration.
Oh, that's right.
On of Team Fish Taco, which had Drew Dozer. And then I don't remember exactly who. Slogan, and then an 80 carry. I don't even. He was like a barcode player, honestly. I don't even know where he's at now. Like, I haven't heard from him since. But Slogan's cool. Drew Dozer. I don't remember a top laner. I think it was Porsche or something. Nah, I don't know. But anyways, that roster flopped as well, just like the Team Front. And then I had a break, right, where I didn't play anything, just playing solo queue. And then I wasn't planning on playing like I don't know. I don't know how to look for trouts. I do now, but back then I just wasn't like actively trying to find a team, you know?
Yeah.
But then I think they hit me up, and it was like last second, like they were looking for a jungler or something. They were still doing tryouts. The rest of the team was already like set, I think. Then I tried out, they liked me, and then just went with it. But even then, it was like a roster that, like, looking on paper, it's like top 16. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like that's like all I've played on. Like, it's just like until you could say SN now, but like I've only like been on like top 16 rosters, and I've just like I just don't know how to get on the, like, back then I didn't know how to climb, you know. But I wasn't I don't know, I don't think I was that good either, so yeah.
I can always be frustrating where you don't know how to progress and get to the next stage. You think you get, like, you go from one place to another, but it doesn't ever feel like vertical movement, right? You're still on that same level.
Yeah, you're just staying at the same level. You know, I did win UPL, and with Team Front we made quarters in big our first time, I think, and then we made semis the other time, and then we almost made finals. It was a best of five games. And it was fun because I think we lost our first 2 games, so we had the reverse sweep. And then we had 2 top laners. We had Dragoon and Jaden, which we lost Jaden for a while. He went to Hawaii, family stuff. Went to Hawaii for a bit, so we had Dragoon sub in. Then we had still chosen to use Jaden as our main, but then I think we're down 0-2, and then we're like, all right, we need to, you know, mix something up, right? So we had subbed in Dragoon, I think, and then Jaden role swapped to mid. So we had Dragoon, and we had 2 top laners playing the solo lanes, and then we 2-0'd. I don't know if they were stomps, but we won pretty hard those 2 games.
Yeah.
And game 5 was looking good, but we threw it, so no finals. Unlucky.
Was this against NC State?
It was against Low Poly's team. I don't remember their name.
Okay, Low Poly's team. Okay.
I don't. Wait, maybe it was the Expendables? I don't know the team name. It's been a while.
Yeah, no, I mean that might have been Expendables. But what I was curious about is there is a UPL finals where you guys played against varsity NC State at some point. And I think
I've only played 1 UPL final, so
okay. Because I remember casting that one, and I was super excited for you guys. That was a good memory. Because I remember setting up the narrative that, like, varsity NC State had just won the past 2 prior UPL splits. And so now going into this one, Fruition are looking to be the dark horse trying to upset it, and you guys did. So I was...
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't really know much about the history, but I just know that the UPL split I won, the stacked teams weren't there. So, but we still beat everyone else.
Oh, so. Yeah.
So it was a good experience.
Yeah.
It's probably a highlight, honestly, like winning that. Everyone was happy. Looking to do it again on Supernova. Because we're currently undefeated in our UPL. We're the only team in UPL actually undefeated.
Oh, really? So, okay.
Yeah, in terms of games.
There you go. So, yeah. So, I know we're kind of just glazing over Dark Allegiance, and to kind of give you more props, even though unfortunately Dark Allegiance didn't make it that far, I know that there was you guys had some upset wins over.
Yeah, we took games off SN, took games off Maryville, but we just never won sets.
Yeah.
And it was always Dark Allegiance was fun because our playstyle was completely different from everyone else, and I feel like that's the first team that played around me versus me playing for everyone else. On Fruition, I was playing the Nunu, the Sejuani, the Jarvan, I then occasionally the Zinzao, but it was always banned. So
yeah.
But that's the kind of champs I played for those teams, were on Team Front and Fruition. Whereas on DA, it was more like our support could play Yuumi, so if I wanted to hop on the Kayn, I could.
Yeah.
So that's how we got a lot of our wins, with the upsets, with like playing around me specifically. And Kayn was the big one that I was playing for that playstyle.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, and you know, I think if I, you know, maybe I'm incorrect in this assumption, but maybe I think once you got a chance to show a different play style apart from the team, filling a more team role or team player role that you did for Fruition and Team Front, once you were put into the position of a primary carry role on Dark Allegiance, because I don't know how then you got into contact with Supernova, but I feel like you're put in a similar position in that roster.
Yeah, maybe. I think we're like still figuring out our perfect playstyle. Like we haven't been doing too hot So, well, we're looking at this Mercury Cup, but I think it's not playing around me as much as it was on DA. Like I'm not gonna get a Yumi game out of G Bunny.
Yeah.
But I'm
Probably
still
not.
playing carries. I'm not whipping out the Nunu or the J4 that much. I'm more on the Graves, the Lilia, which Lilia can be like a support type champion too.
Yeah.
And it's fun because I can pick her, and then if we need a Moonstaff enchanter, I can be that, and my damage will still be fine. Or I could just play the full-on damage and just go for one-shots, you know? So it's really fun when I get to play Lilia. But my pool is just, right now, it's just like the Udyr, the Lilia, the Graves, the Hecarim, you know? The carry junglers. The jungle's pretty OP right now, so
yeah,
I'm chilling.
I would definitely say that this is the strongest the jungle role has felt since like season 6. When
except the Olaf, but the Olaf did get nerfed today, so I don't know how strong he is.
And Gore Drinker.
Yep, and Gore Drinker.
Yeah.
But I'm actually one of the enthusiasts that I've never seen anyone else do it, but in solo queue and in competitive, I've been playing Stridebreaker Olaf, and I found success with it.
Okay. I feel like I
haven't seen anyone else do it, but I do it and I have fun doing it, and it's so fun. It's just an extra like dash that, you know, Olaf never has a dash.
Yeah.
It's fun to use.
I mean, there's a reason why, like, anytime you run Olaf and then with Ghost, you feel so bad in situations where you need to flash or you need the extra, like, just...
I run Ghost on Olaf sometimes, but I really like Flash more because I'm like, I don't play, I rarely play like tank, like just frontline Olaf. I usually go like, I see the 80 carry and I'm gonna get him.
Yeah.
Olaf. So I always go Flash because if the ADC flashes from me and I'm just Ghost, I mean, I run to him, and then he has dashes and then he has everything else. So it's really hard to do that. But when you have Flash, you can match the Flash. And then if I have Stridebreaker, I just flash and break his legs with Stridebreaker, which is like in 60+% slow.
Yeah.
Plus my slow, which is I don't know how much, but so they can't move and then they're dead.
Yeah. It's essentially like a more aggressive chem tank, right?
Yeah. And you're already fast anyways, so
you don't need the extra movement speed. You just need the dash and then
like I just want to kill the 80 carry because if I can't kill him, he'll kill me.
Yeah.
but if I can get in the fight and kill the 80 carry, then I can turn on everyone else. But if I have a Vayne drilling me, I can't play the game.
That's right. Well, that's actually super dope that you're already experimenting with the Stridebreaker tech, because obviously Gore Drinker getting nerfed.
I probably have more games on it than I do Gore. So Gore Drinker getting nerfed kind of makes me happy because it's broken regardless. Like I hate playing against Gore Drinker. I just build anti-heal second item every time. Yeah. But it being nerfed looks like an Olaf nerf, but also Olaf is getting nerfed, actually nerfed. So it's a plus the Gore Drinker nerf. Yeah. The double whammy for him. So he's probably not going to be picker ban anymore. Yeah. But I feel like I haven't played him yet, but I feel like I can still make him work.
You probably could.
He's been my main champion last year. He was my most played, like 300 games on him. Yeah. High win rate.
You know, I think you're definitely onto something with Stridebreaker. I think Stridebreaker overall as an item feels really undervalued just because I agree. It's easy to look at Gore Drinker and be like, oh, why would you build anything else, right? But like for one jungler that I think is going to be popping up more, and we're already seeing it not just in amateur but academy as well, Nocturne, I think is potentially on the rise, because if you think about it, there's a lot of global champions in the game right now. You think of Twisted Fate,
like mid-laner TF's coming up, and all that.
Twisted Fate, Galio, Pantheon. I think Pantheon still might exist inside of like some
jungle. He got a big jungle, got a jungle nerf on his Q. Yeah, so his Q doesn't deal as much to camp, so I think jungle Panth will be way weaker.
Yeah, I think he could still exist like in a solo lane or a support role. Yeah. But
obviously he wasn't touched there. Just jungle this patch. Yeah. He is been pretty OP, but he's been getting nerfed, so.
Yeah. I don't want to quote unquote leak strats, but me and Smacks have been talking about mid Nocturne a lot, and he swears by Stridebreaker Nocturne. Like not the Gore Drinker, and if you decide to go lethality, it's Prowler's Claw, and the reason why he swears by those 2 items is once you ult onto someone, they have to wait to flash until after
you hit them,
right? And so in order to ensure that you can get your fear on them, you Stridebreaker or your Prowler's Claw after they flash, right?
True.
So just if you decide to decide to experiment on an ult or something,
That's true. I don't know if I'll be playing Nocturne, but
yeah,
I've got a few picks in the making, I think.
Sick. Okay.
And I've been loving the Udyr recently. He's so fun to play. He got nerfed, but
it's nothing.
The nerf didn't look that big.
Yeah.
I think he's still gonna be the same thing. You just power farm over everyone.
Yeah. No, I mean they only touched his activation damage, and it's
it's like the little burn around you. It's not even the Phoenix damage. So
yeah, it's like 25 at max rank, which
which is nothing late game. Like I don't care.
Yeah. Exactly.
They're nerfing every other item too. They buffed Udyr items.
Yeah.
So I think he's actually going to be stronger. Force of Nature got buffed, which is huge on him.
Yeah.
Like, you build that against AP. I think Deadman's was touched too. I don't know if it was a nerf or a buff though. I think it was a small nerf, but
small HP
I don't
nerf.
know. His items are getting buffed, but he's getting nerfed. But I think overall he's going to be the exact same as he was this patch.
And
the last patch.
If you're removing Gore Drinker and Olaf from the meta, essentially,
everyone else is getting nerfed too. So
yeah.
But he's good into those types of champion though. Like Olaf, anything with phase rush, Olaf despises. You just run away.
Yeah. So. The biggest thing, I don't know how much of your team plays enchanters combined with you playing Udyr, but Chemtech Purifier or Putrefier.
Oh yeah.
That's a fucking nutty change.
I think Mid Seraphine's gonna be broken for a while. So I think she's getting nerf support, but
yeah. Karma's also getting a
picker ban.
Yeah.
Probably.
Karma's also
Karma, but we've had Cavell playing Karma top, so that's an easy enchanter for me.
There you go. I mean, just AoE shield, and if Udyr doesn't have enough movement speed, now you got even more movement speed, man. So it's nuts. Let's see here. Just want to make sure where we are on topics. So talking a little bit about the meta. Some secret picks that you got lined up. I won't inquire. I'll let you surprise us on the stage once you decide to bust them out. But we can briefly talk about Supernova and then kind of you hitting rank 3, because so far this is peak Matty so far.
I mean, it's early season rank 3, and also it was rank 1.
Okay, rank 1. My bad.
Rank 1 for a day, my god. Yeah, I held it for a day. I hit it last year too at the early season, but it was only for 20 minutes. Then APA took it back. But
damn.
But I this season I had it for a day. Had a 15-game win streak. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's carried into why I'm high ranked right now. It's because my win rate's good. Although I've been in losers queue on my main, and Riot keeps messing up the gains. I got plus 11 my last win, where I'm getting negative 20 every losses with a 60% win rate. So I'm yep, I'm not touching my main until they fix it. You know? Give it a few days to soften, because I will not play on plus 11, negative 20 plus.
No,
it's just not climbable.
Yeah, not at all.
If I played, I would go back to being a 200 LPGM, So I think I'm gonna grind up the Smurf and have 2 challenger accounts this year instead of always playing on my. I've always been challenger IGM, but I play 1K games a season only on my one account, right?
Yeah.
So I think this season I'm gonna try to be like everyone else, get my 60% win rate, sit in challenger, and then just have it in my other account. Then once that one's challenger, then I can spam games if I want on one of them.
Yeah.
But just to always have that challenger, because it looks good on you too. I talked about getting on good, better teams too, but I mean, my OPGG says season 7, season 8, season 9 masters, so always low LP. Even last year, I barely ended GM. It's the first time I didn't end masters.
There you go.
Big loser skew at the end of the season every time.
For sure. Well, maybe on your alternates you can try out the Nocturne and let me know what you think.
True.
Okay, so but Supernova, here. So this roster is Cavell, yourself, Strompest, Array, and G Bunny. And when you guys are on form, you guys are able to take games off of some of the top 4 teams.
Yeah, we almost beat Barrage this week, but then we lost to everyone else 2-0. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It was pretty. This last week of Big was kind of demoralizing, but I mean, we're looking forward to playing in Cup. So.
There you go. Yeah.
And we got a decent chunk of points from. We got 7th to 11th place in Fruition. We didn't make playoffs, but we made the points. So
yeah.
As long as we do okay in Cup, I think we'll be able to play in the Tier 1 tournaments, the first set of it. Unless we just flop Cup, then we probably won't play in much.
How do you feel about the... I know, it was kind of... You had a demoralizing weekend, the past couple of days in Big.
Yeah, this past week, yeah.
Yeah, but how do you feel about the current team dynamic? And how do you feel about your teammates?
I mean, I think last week it was pretty bad, but I mean, even up till yesterday, it's just everyone's disappointed, right? But I think yesterday we had a good talk, and now I think we're good now. Yeah. And I mean, we'll have a morale boost once we stomp our next UPL game.
There you go.
And then going into Friday, if we have to play in the OQs, because I'm still not sure if we're gonna have to play in there, because we got invited to the first tourney, but I think they're only inviting 8 teams, so I don't know if we'll get invited again, especially since we lost instantly. So
I think Cup is supposed to have an announcement about the 8 teams.
Yeah, I think their application deadlines is today, so then tomorrow we'll know. I think, or later tonight we'll know.
Yeah,
is the plan right now? I think we were told.
And we'll see what is announced there. Because you talked a lot about, Dark Allegiance was kind of the first team that you felt more in a carry role, but because you have a huge veteran and voice in Strompest, do you feel like the carry responsibility is shared between you two, or is it just him being a shot caller, or is everyone kind of contributing?
I feel like everyone kind of contributes, but if there's ever need to be a main voice, I think we always listen to him because he has the experience. He's been challenger since I was 13, so he was challenger since he was 13. I mean, he's just a year older than me max, so he's been good at the game forever. So, and he was in academy, so if he says something is bad, then we won't do it. But yeah, we've just had synergy issues, I think, is the main thing we've had recently, and I feel like when we get tilted, we don't play as good.
Sure.
So we just have to not get tilted. We have to get in winner's queue.
Just don't tilt, Forehead. That's all it is.
Yeah, just don't tilt. I'm pretty good at never tilting. I never get sad or anything over even after that disappointing week. I'm still excited for Cup, and I want to play Cup. I want to do well in Cup now.
Yeah.
And we know we have the potential because we almost beat Barrage, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they were having an off day, but we felt pretty good in our gameplay. So we just have to always play like that, and we can go far.
Yeah. And you've talked about how you guys haven't really found a play style or identity yet that fits your roster, but I feel like the benefit so far of, even though obviously it would be more ideal if you have gotten more qualification points, but being able to see the finals and the playoffs from the top 4 teams that have been in the tier 2 so far, you've been able to see and getting a chance of understanding how the other teams play. And so I think, if your team and I think you have Coach Koso, if you guys are able to come together and come up with plans of being able to, not only figure out what identity works best for your team dynamic, but also figuring out, okay, this is how they want to play, how do we exploit those weaknesses, right? Then
well, we have an analyst that gives us info before every game. He's been doing a good job. Then we also have a secondary coach, OPTSM fan. So
Sean's your secondary coach?
Yeah, but it's primarily Koso.
Gotcha.
John just gives info every once in a while.
Cool. I didn't know that. That's cool. Okay. All right. As we are kind of winding down, I have a couple more questions for you. You kind of touched on how you've changed in terms of your play style just based on the teams you've been with over the years, but what would you say within the past 2 years or 3 years in amateur you've improved the most on as a player?
Well, if we're just talking about like gameplay wise, first iteration of Fruition,
Mm-hmm.
never bought pinks in my life. I never bought pink boards. Even in Tokyo, I never bought pink boards. But now I always buy pinks off backs now.
Good
so
man.
I'm pretty good at that. I never bought pinks before. And Blitz would lose his mind at all 4 of us, because none of us would buy pink boards.
I can't be the only one, guys. Please. It's cheap.
That's literally what you would say. I can't be the only one, please, guys. Vision was a big thing. I've improved on vision, I think.
That's good.
Although I'm still not like perfect or anything.
Okay.
But at least it's there now, whereas it wasn't there before. I've learned to play different playstyles too, so I feel like I'm way more adaptable now.
Mm-hmm. You're definitely
than I
more
was
versatile. Yeah.
3 years ago. So.
Mm-hmm. No longer tank slave duty. You get to play carries.
Yeah,
now.
I was surprised. Like, even I didn't consider myself like that good, like, compared to everyone else. Like, there's so many good junglers, and then like, it wasn't the best like list or anything. Like, people shot on it, and I understand, but I was considered like the 3rd jungle prospect, like out of the ones who were allowed to be on the list or whatever for mobilytics or whatever. I didn't even think people thought I was good, so that was a little ego boost for me, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't think I was that good. And then Fruition talked about me for a second. Like, that was cool.
Yeah. It's good to be confident, but it's best to never put yourself on a pedestal like that.
Yeah. Like, I don't think I'll ever be like a super high ego person or anything. So but that's just like my mentality, I think.
Yeah. There's always something you can improve on, right? So it's
never underestimate anyone or anything.
That's correct. Yeah. I'm glad to hear that, man. I really am. I think that's the right attitude to have. It's the right approach to always improving.
Professional attitude too, yeah. You never want to shit talk much. You can banter, but
yeah.
I never want to like look down on anyone or anything.
Sure. I do wish we had a little bit more banter, but I think it's a lot easier to banter when you have good relationships.
Yeah, it's hard to banter people you don't know, and you don't really know everyone in amateur, so
yeah, which is why I'm doing this.
True.
I want everyone to get to know each other, and see where everyone's is coming from. So, last kind of question. Where do you want to be by the end of this year, and 5 years from now, where do you want to be?
I mean, perfect scenario. Let's say I smurf the entire year. We win cup, we win the tier 1 tournaments. Very far-fetched, but if I could get on an academy team by the end of the year, that'd be like the dream, right? That's like the goal, I guess, for me, if I'm trying to make it like in league. Otherwise, like, let's say like this year, next year max, like I don't make it, I'll probably just focus on RL. Like, you can't stay on league forever, right? Don't want to like lose my life to league, So I'm in school right now too, just doing a general arts degree. So I'm just like, I don't want to like completely like tunnel vision for league, because I'm, like I said, I don't even think I'm that good. So I have to keep my doors open, or I don't want to ruin my life. Yeah. Pretty much that's it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Ideally, my goal is academy.
Yeah.
And then after academy, it'll be LCS or whatever.
There you go.
I don't think like LCS is like a real option like to look to, and even then, academy is far fetched. But I'm hopeful that I can keep improving and do better.
Yeah. Well, I respect that you are having a grounded expectation
approach
and a grounded right. Just but even though I respect that you are not being arrogant, I think you shouldn't sell yourself as short. And you know, just take that with a grain of salt.
Sure.
I think if you know, when you look back at 2018 Fruition, you're always more of a supportive player, and you were part of the foundation, but you know, back then you weren't quote unquote in the spotlight, and now you kind of more are with this current roster. Even though you're not the main veteran, you are one of the more experienced players when it comes to competitive. You definitely have.
I feel like Cavell and Strom both do over me, I think. But
Sure.
I'd be like the third.
Yeah.
It's a pretty experienced roster outside of the bottom lane, whereas both of them are completely new, especially G-Bunny. He literally was a professional Paladins player / Overwatch. and then last year he decided to start playing League, and he hit Challenger, and now he's here. And Arrays, it's his first, I think this is his second team.
Gotcha.
So they're pretty fresh down there.
Yeah.
Fresh talent.
Yeah.
Whereas we're more,
I think
some boomers.
Yeah, I think if you keep this, you know, grounded approach, but making sure to give yourself some credit where it's due, not as to boost your ego, but just to kind of remind yourself, like, hey, this is how far I've come. This is a good thing. You know, I've made progression. And because I never want you to like look down at yourself negatively.
No, I don't look down on myself too or anything. It's just I don't want to get cocky ever. So
fair enough.
That's literally all it is.
All right.
And even then, I do talk like I have an ego a lot of the time, but most of the time it's just jokes. Like I shit talk my teammates all the time.
That's good.
We get I love our CEO at Supernova. He always does like little things, like we're gonna get a jersey and everyone's gonna get a hoodie. Like that's sick. I'll have another hoodie. And he does. I won't. Like, if we hold top 50 every 2 weeks, we get a little bit of moolah. So I should talk. I'm the only one. Oh, actually, I don't know if Stromp is top 50 right now, but I've been top 50 ever since he said that. And I think Stromp is really close now, but everyone else not top 50. I should talk them all the time, and especially since I've been considered prospect on Mobalytics, I brag about it every day.
Okay.
So I definitely don't tell my I don't think I have confidence issues or anything. It's just I don't want to get cocky.
Sure. Okay. Well, I'm glad you clarified that, and for all homies. Well. Before I let you go, Matty, as we are reaching our end here, is there anyone you want to shout out? Any social media you want to plug real quick?
I'll just shout out my Twitter, which is already on the screen. So, well, Matty. But I can shout out all my teammates. You know, everyone on Supernova right now. Array, Cavell, the Strompists, Nezzy, OPTSM fan, Saturn, Amanda, and T-Combs. And Koso. Don't forget Koso.
There you go.
Yeah, those are the homies right now.
Those are the homies indeed. All